Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you see, in the last class, we discussed Fourier transform, and we have completed all the properties of discussion on the properties of Fourier transforms. And do you have any question from that side? Any question from Fourier transform? So then we'll start a new topic. Today we'll discuss sampling theorem. Okay. And you see, we discussed the system, two types of system. Okay, 1 minute. Now my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry for disturbance. Okay, so we discussed that there are two types of systems. One is continuous system or analog system, which will accept analog input or continuous input x of t, and its impulse response is defined by h of t. Then we'll have a continuous output y of t, and which is the convolution between h of t and x of t. Whereas there are one system, certain systems, those will accept the samples, no sequences. So x of n, the discrete samples, and this is called digital system or discrete system rather. Discrete system which will process this impulse response is given by h of n, and we'll have an output again sequence y of n is x of n convolution with h of n. So here the convolution is a continuous, means h of tau, x of t minus tau, and d tau. Right? So this integral will give you next year h of t. Now, whereas this yn here, as it is discrete, so we'll put the summation form instead of integral, and it is again h of k and x of n minus k, these two, and then k will vary from minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay. Now, so this lecture is dedicated for this one, how to get this x of n. And you see, in nature, the signals are always continuous. Okay. So if you collect some signal from nature, suppose if you are speaking in front of a microphone, the microphone will produce a speech signal. That signal is again continuous in time domain. Okay, so every practical systems are continuous in time domain. Okay, so discrete thing we won't get in nature, but sometimes discrete systems are preferable compared to these continuous systems. We can employ some machine to compute the sequences, all those things that will be useful for us. So for our purpose, we should convert from analog signal to discrete signals. Okay, so this process is called sampling. To convert this analog signal to discrete signals. So what I want to mean, so I have a continuous signal x of t. So here I need sampling. Okay, and we want to take samples at regular interval, regular sampling rate. Suppose it samples at nts. Okay, every ts is the sampling time interval. Okay, so you will get what? You will get x of nts. So what is the meaning? So I'll draw this one. So this is pictorially what I can show. This is your x of t. The sampling process, ideal sampling process, is nothing but a switch kind of thing. And this switch will be on at t equals to only nts. And again off rest time. Okay, n is the integers. So ts, 2ts, 3ts every time. Okay, so you should get x of nts. Right? So what I mean, suppose if I have these kind of signals, this is your x of t, this is the time axis t. Now I wish to take samples at regular intervals. Okay, suppose at t equal to 0, I'll take this sample, and next sample I'll take here. This is your at ts, next is here, 2ts. So this is your 3ts, like that. In that way, you will continue. Okay, in regular interval, you'll be taking these samples. On left side as well. So red, this one, these are the samples. We'll call it so that t equals to nts for this one. That time its value, its height. This height is x of nts. Right? And so if ts is understood, no. So if ts is specified, this is given for a particular application, we'll consider for we have to choose for ts, and then so this, if I consider only the samples and we will ignore this ts one, then this n equal to 0 and equal to 1 and equal to 2, all those things, all samples count, that we can simply write as x of n. But remember, this x of n is the samples that is derived from one sampling process, and sampling time intervals should be given. Okay, should be understood, because otherwise you can't identify at what time your samples are coming. Is it clear what I'm saying? So only a sequence will not give you sufficient information unless you are giving the information for TS at what regular interval you have sampled it. Because this number, simply if I give you the number, suppose these values. So suppose 0.1, then 0.5, then 0.8, 1.7, suppose again 0.4, like that. If I give you these values, so this will give you a sequence only. Suppose if I put an arrow here, that imply that this is the origin. That's also okay. But what is the gap, time gap between two successive samples? That is not specified here. Okay, in the samples. So that is given by the TS sampling time interval. So TS called sampling time interval. Okay. So this is 0. So that should be known to us. Now, how to take these samples? So we wish to get x of n, means x of n TS. So how to make this switch? All those things. So what the mathematical derivation, all those things that we'll study here. And second thing is that suppose if we take these samples only, obviously we are losing some. You can see that we are not taking all the values, no, not every time. At regular interval only, 0 TS, 2 TS, 3 TS. At those instant only we are taking samples. Now question is it sufficient? These samples are whether these samples are sufficient to carry all the information about XT or not. In other words, from X of NTS, okay, can I get back the original signal XT by somehow? Okay, this is the question. First of all, from continuous signal X of T, we are taking a regular samples at sampling interval TS. Okay, we will get X of NTS. And then question is that whether these samples are sufficient to carry all the information about the XT or not. If it will carry all the information, then we'll be able to again reconstruct our original signal XT from these samples. Okay. So there is one theorem that is called Nyquist sampling theorem. Okay. It says that we can recover or reconstruct the original signal XT from X of NTS, means sample version, if the X of T, first of all, it's a band limited signal. It should be a band limited signal. And suppose its spectrum X of T suppose X of T, its spectrum Fourier transform is capital X of j omega. Okay, and if I say that the magnitude of X of j omega is 0 for this mod omega is more than so certain value that we will call capital W. Okay, so capital W is the one frequency, angular frequency, and if this omega is more than that, then always it is 0. The outside this one means that, so this is non-zero, the spectrum is non-zero when W is, so I am considering that x of j omega, it is non-zero for W within this capital W and minus capital W. This window, outside it is 0. Okay, so one example, if I see that the spectrum is like this, so this is your capital W, this is small w, and whatever amplitude it is, and this is your minus capital W. So you clearly see that this side it is 0, this side it is 0, and within minus W plus W it is having some shape. That is called band limited signal. Okay. So if this is a band limited signal and sampling rate, now this Fs or WS, right, we will consider angular sampling rate. So angular frequency, so 2 pi upon Ts. Okay, I think I have considered capital Ts. Yes. So this one, it should be more than twice capital W, the bandwidth. So this frequency is called bandwidth. So 0 to up to maximum non-zero frequency. That frequency, highest frequency, that is called bandwidth of the signal. And in this case, it is capital W radian per second. Okay. And if WS 2 pi upon Ts, it is more than twice W, then only we can. So if it is satisfied, then we can recover xt from x of nts. Okay, it is ideal condition. So this is called Nyquist sampling theorem. So this frequency is called Nyquist frequency, sampling frequency. So Nyquist sampling frequency is exactly equals to 2W. This is a minimum sampling rate required to recover the xt from x of nts. Okay, so we can put equal sign. Yes, that is also fine. So omega is more than equal to 2W. So have you understood the statement of this Nyquist sampling theorem? Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Any confusion, please? No? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we'll see what is the proof of this one. Okay. How to get this? So now we'll start with ideal thing. So this signal, suppose I'll consider one signal, that is your x of t. Now it is taken, so samples are taken at regular interval at Ts. So this is your Ts, 2Ts, 3Ts, like that. This is your minus Ts. Okay. Now, here I'll consider not only this magnitude, I'll start with, so I'll put one impulse here. Okay, I want to get a impulse at those locations. And the height of the impulse, the strength of the impulse depends on the magnitude at that moment of this, so magnitude of the signal at the moment. Okay, so what is the meaning? So if I consider a impulse train like this, a train of impulse signals that we have discussed earlier in Fourier series. Okay, I think you can recall. So this is your impulse train. So this is your time instant t. This is at 0. This is at ts. This is 2ts, 3ts. So if I call this signal as periodic signal, the small pt. Okay. So can I write this small pt, little pt, this one is summation of, it's a periodic signal, this impulse delta, and it is regular interval t minus nts. N could be anything, minus infinity to infinity. So this is your impulse train, P of t. And if we want to get this samples version, so this sampled one, I'll call it this x s t as the product of just simple multiplication of xt times this small pt. Just I multiply these two samples. So what you will get? So you know that this is xt and this is your impulse train. It's del t minus nts. N equals to minus infinity to infinity. Now, this signal, first I can multiply because it is common to all. So then I can add it. So what I can do, I can consider it is x of t and del of nts, ts into n. So this one, t, right? This one, okay. So you know that del of t minus capital T, and any signal x of t that we can rewrite as, so this signal will be available at small t equal to capital T only, and that time its value is x of capital T, and that only we can put here. It will modify the amplitude of this impulse. So nature will remain impulse. Okay, that we have used several times. So that again we will use it. So this impulse is located at t equals to nts. So can I write this x of nts, that sample at nts, what is the magnitude of the signal, that will modify the amplitude of this impulse, but it is again one kind of train of impulses, but with different amplitudes. Okay, n equals to minus infinity to infinity. Is it correct? So do you see this blue samples? They're basically impulse, but their amplitudes depends on the sample value of the xt signal. So it will carry the information of xt signal, samples of xt signals, right? Is it clear? Fine. Now, can you find the Fourier transform of this one? Okay. To find the Fourier transform of this signal, so now task is that we wish to find xt and its Fourier transform capital X xs of j omega. What is this? So what is the frequency content of the sampled signals that we wish to understand right now? Okay, and we see that the original signal xt, suppose its spectrum is given, its Fourier transform is capital X of j omega. This is your signal, continuous domain signal, and its spectrum is capital X of j omega. Now small pt, that is your summation of impulse train, impulse signals, so t minus nts. This is n equals to minus infinity to infinity. So can you compute the Fourier transform of this signal? How to compute? Anybody?
Multiply p of t into x of t.
P of t into x of t. Then you will get spectrum of x of xf of t. That you're saying. I'm asking on this simple question. How to get the spectrum of this one? This signal only. The P of t. Its spectrum. So this signal, this impulse train signal is specified. So how to get the spectrum? So Fourier transform is important. All the properties I have discussed in detail. Even I am sharing those properties in detail in YouTube's. Please follow all those things. It is useful. Throughout your life, it will be required. Okay. Now, I discuss this thing that whenever you will have some periodic signals, then first you should consider the Fourier series. Okay. And then for every periodic signal, no? So this one, so can you recall what is this one? So this one, you see, we can express as Cn times e to the power Jn. This is your omega s, omega t, omega s into t, because the sampling interval is time is this one, Ts. So this is that we can replace in this form by Fourier series. This is due to Fourier series expansion. We can expand this periodic, because this is a periodic signal, we can expand in terms of complex exponentials. And what is your Cn value? Okay. What is the Cn value? So Cn is the small p of t, you have to integrate e to the power minus j n omega s t and dt from for one time period t naught, and you divide by 1 upon t naught. Can you recall? Is it correct? Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
This is the Fourier series coefficients. Now this p of t within this minus t0 by 2, so I can consider minus t0 by 2 to plus t0 by 2. So you see, this is your impulse train. Okay, so if I consider these two, This is your minus Ts by 2. This is your Ts by 2. So within that one, you have only one sample, that is del of t. So I can replace by del of t here. So 1 upon T0, then minus T0 by 2, or Ts by 2. Okay, it's a Ts by 2. Okay, it is Ts by 2. It's a del of t, e to the power minus j n omega naught t, say omega st, and dt. So you see, again, this is a product of these two. So I can put t equal to 0 here. So you will get 1. And integration of del t is again 1 because it will include this impulse. Thus it is 1. So its value is 1 upon t0, means here in this case it is ts. Is it fine? So Cn is 1 upon ts. What is the conclusion? That this pt we can express as 1 upon Cn is 1 upon Ts, and the rest thing is e to the power j n omega st. N is minus infinity to infinity. Right? Now we can take Fourier transform on both sides. Okay. And now we can use another property. E to the power j omega naught t. It's Fourier transform. Can you tell me what is the Fourier transform of this one? E to the power j omega naught t?
2 pi del of omega minus omega naught.
Good. So 2 pi del omega minus omega, because it is single frequency located at omega naught. So it is 2 pi multiplication of scaling factors. Okay. So that we can replace. So Fourier transform of Pt is simply 1 upon Ts, and this summation, okay, summation will remain there. And this one is Fourier transform is 2 pi times del omega minus, and here frequency is n omega s. So n omega s. Is it correct? So we can consider that it is 2 pi upon Ts. This is your del omega minus in omega s. Right? N equals to minus infinity to infinity. So this is a Fourier transform of this impulse train signal. And this one, okay, we can write, simplify it. 2 pi upon Ts is omega s. Again, omega s times del of omega minus n omega s. So n equals to minus infinity to infinity. Now you see. So our task is to find the Fourier transform of this one, xst. And what is xst? The sample version of this one. Now, this xst we have defined as xt times the small pt. Okay. So Fourier transform of xst sampled of this xt signal. Now, this Fourier transform of this one, x of t and p of t. So what is this? This is a product of two signals. Can you recall the property? Multiplication of two signals. If x1t is capital X1 of j omega and x2t is capital X2 of j omega, right? Then the product of this one, x1t and x2t, what is the Fourier transform? Anybody?
By integration of x1 j omega into x2 j omega.
So I discussed that, yeah, similar to this one. So in time domain, if you have a convolution, so if you have a convolution in time domain, then its spectrum in frequency domain, it is multiplied. Sorry, x2 of j omega. x2 of j omega. Okay, but if in time domain it is multiplication, you will get convolution in time frequency domain. Actually, x1 of j omega convolution with x2 of j omega. Is it okay? And I think there is a factor multiplied, probably 1 upon 2 pi, that you will check. Okay. So if it is so, then what you'll get? 1 upon 2 pi times this capital X of j omega and convolution with this Fourier transform of Pt, and Fourier transform of Pt is this one, this omega s times del n omega s. Okay, n equals to minus infinity to infinity. Okay, so what you'll get? This omega s upon 2 pi, it's outside. Now this one, so can I take convolution inside? That we can do. Is summation x of j omega convolution with del of omega minus n omega s. Okay, n is minus infinity to infinity. Now what is this? Can you simplify it? The convolution between these two? Anybody? A convolution of one signal is del signal. So this I can consider as a system point of view. No? So you can recall this thing. If I have a system, like suppose its impulse response h of t is del of t minus capital T. Okay. And if my input is xt, so what is the output yt? Can you tell me what is the output yt?
X of t minus capital T.
X of
That is because yt is xt convolution ht. Ht is del of t minus capital T. So this implies that it's a delay. And there's this impulse delay. If I take convolution, the sample is delayed. Simply x of t minus capital T. That indication, same thing we can use here. So it is an impulse, but it is in frequency domain, not in time domain. That is difference. In frequency domain, omega is the variable, and it delayed by n omega s. And that is convolution. We are taking convolution with a capital X of j omega. So this spectrum should be shifted at delayed by. So it should be shifted at n omega s. So can I write this omega s upon 2 pi, and that is simply capital X of j omega minus n omega s, where n equals to minus infinity to infinity. Is it correct? Is it fine? So this omega s is 2 pi upon t. So omega s by 2 pi is simply 1 upon ts. And this is your capital X of j omega minus n omega s, where n is minus infinity to infinity. Now, what it says, suppose this is your band limited signal. I told you that signal is a band limited signal, I'll consider this triangular shape, but not necessarily that the spectrum of xt should be triangular. That is not required. I need that within this band plus capital W to minus capital W, the signal should exist, spectrum should exist, and outside it should be 0. That is the requirement. So shape within this one, it is not required here. For simplicity, I have taken a triangular function. So this is your suppose capital X of j omega. So this is your omega. So if this is capital X of j omega, then what is this? This is the Fourier transform of small xs of t. So can I draw that one? So you see here, what is happening? So this is summation of, so what is the meaning? It is a 1 upon ts. It is summation I can write, so n equal to 0 if I put, then it will be x of j omega only, plus next one will be x of j omega minus omega s, and it will continue this side, and left side also capital X j omega plus omega s, and it will continue this side as well. So with n equal to 0, you are getting x of j omega, and this signal is located around the 0 only. No, there is no shift at all. So same shape you will get again here, minus capital W2 plus capital W, but only scaling factor is 1 upon ts. So if this value, if I call it capital X of 0, no, at omega equal to 0, this is the height. So then this magnitude will be capital X of 0 upon ts. That is only modification. And if it is 0, suppose we'll get, this is my omega s. Okay, so next one, this one, capital X of j omega minus omega s, it is shifted around omega s. So this total spectrum is shifted around omega s. So we can have so this is your omega s minus capital omega. This is your omega s plus capital omega. Again, around 2 omega s, we will have a spectrum. And same repetition because same height at all. So all will have, should look like same, no? It's a periodic. Minus omega s, like that. Is it correct? So this is your Fourier transform of xst. Any confusion? Is it fine? So this is my spectrum. Now, I discussed that filtering. No? And the spectrum of my original signal was this thing. And this shape is repeated several times. That is okay. But I want a spectrum which is around the origin. So I need to select only this spectrum. And I want to discard all others repetitions. Then only I will get my original signal x of t. If I can find the spectrum like this only, okay, no? So what I can do? I want to select one region. So can I consider a filter like this, suppose this one is, suppose I am considering omega s by 2. This is your minus omega s by 2. Now, if there is a gap, okay, so this repetition, they are not overlapping at all. Okay, then using this filter, so this is your, you know that it is a low pass filter because this is your pass band, and beyond that it is stop band. So this is a critical frequency, cutoff frequency omega s by 2. So if I can use a low pass filter, then from the sample version we can get back this h of x of t. So in other words, what I can say, see what I'm saying, that first of all x of t, this is multiplied with p of t, so that is called a sampled version xst, which is the product of these two, xt and pt, right? So this sampled signal is having this spectrum, all repetitions. Now if I pass it through a low pass filter, okay, and spectrum wise, so if you see the spectrum is this one, here the spectrum will be these things only. So if it is ideal low pass filter, ideal, then actually I'll get this exactly same thing. And here, what is the output? Exact output. Can you tell me? Anybody? The output of this low pass filter? Are you following me? Is there any difficulty to understand? Hello? Am I audible? Can you respond, please? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
So are you getting me or not? Just I am speaking and you are not answering anything. So I asked one simple question, that what is the output at this end, means after the low pass filter? What is the shape? So input signal xt is having this shape, spectrum wise. Okay, this is your capital X of j omega. This is your x of 0. This is minus w. It is a plus w. Now at this end, what is the output? Spectrum. So it will select this thing only, and it is all 1. 1 is multiplied, means you will get this shape, exactly this triangular shape only. So here the output spectrum is this one, minus w to plus w, same shape. Only difference is that its amplitude is now x of 0 upon its maximum height. This is by ts. So can I say that the same shape, only scaling factor 1 upon ts. So this output yt is 1 upon ts times x of t. Is it okay? So what is the meaning? Meaning is that from this sampled version. So you see here, if in time domain, this is a signal, these are the, sorry, this is signal only, and here you will have the samples, and from these samples, again we will get back the same shape. Only scaling factor is 1 upon TS multiplied. That we can adjust, we can amplify it. If strength is reduced, we can amplify it. Okay, but we'll get the same shape in time domain, means same frequency, same thing. So it implies that from a sampled version, we can get back the original signal perfectly, reconstruct it perfectly, but provided one condition. Condition is that there should be a gap between this plus capital W to omega s minus W, and there we can select our cutoff frequency. Okay, that means this spectrum should not overlap each others. That will be possible if omega s minus W. What is the condition? So this one, this omega s minus W, if it is more than capital W, is it correct? If this is more compared to this one, then it will be on right side. There should be some gap. Okay, zeros region. Then we can put our filter properly, and we can select only the low frequency frequencies, and that is your original signal. So from here, you see that what is the condition? Condition that omega s is more than, or you can put equal sign as well, equals to twice W. So sampling frequency, angular frequency, should be more than twice the bandwidth, the in terms of angular frequency as well. So if it is so, then only we'll be able to reconstruct it. And if it is violated, if omega s is less than 2W, okay, if omega s is less than 2 capital W, the bandwidth, twice the bandwidth, then what will happen? So this is your frequency W. So this is the one spectrum located around 0, and this is suppose your WS. Okay. Just here. This one. This is your 2 omega s. From here again. Okay. Similarly, this side. So these are the minus omega s, minus 2 omega s, like that. So they're overlapping. Now, if they're overlapping, what's the resulting signal? So up to this one, so this signal is present, and this next one is absent. So resulting is this one only. But here in the overlap zone, both signals are present. So you have to add together. So you will get addition of these two. So you will get this kind of thing. No. So one is reducing, one is increasing. So you will get a flat. It's purely it is triangular. So again here you will get flat. So this is your signals. Okay. This is your overall resulting spectrum for capital XS j omega. That is the Fourier transform of x as t. Now from this one, even if you use one low pass filter, suppose if I put low pass filter here, suppose there are ideal filters I'll be able to construct. Then also what is the output? So output of this filter, you will see up to this and then this one 0. This is the output after the low pass filter, y of j omega. Okay, means this is your x as t, and if you pass it through a low pass filter, you will get yt, and that spectrum is like this. And you see this spectrum is different from x of j omega. X of j omega was only this one, this triangular. So here it is different, so you will get some distortion. So this y of j omega is not same as x of j omega. So you will get yt different from x of t. Okay, that is because of this overlapping, and this thing is called aliasing. Okay, aliasing effect. So this aliasing effect is will be there if the bandwidth of the signal is more, but you are choosing one sampling rate or sampling frequency omega s which is less than 2W. Then it is not sufficient to recover the original signal back. You can't get back. Is it fine? Is the concept clear? Okay. Now, this we have discussed in terms of spectrum in frequency domain. Then time domain, what is happening? Suppose if I am able to reconstruct it, so what is going on there? No, you are using a low pass filter. So what is a low pass filter? So you see, we have used the low pass filter like this. This is your low pass filter minus omega s upon 2. This is your omega s by 2. And this is 1 height. This is omega. This is your h of j omega. This is a filter. Now, what is the corresponding h of t? Can you find? Anybody?
Sinusoidal.
Hmm? Can you repeat again?
Sinusoidal signal.
Sinusoidal? Something different, not only sinusoidal.
Sync function.
I discussed that one. If the get signal in spectrum, the time domain should be sinc function. Sinusoidal divided by that frequency omega, no, the t. The product of one rectangular hyperbola with sinusoidal, damped sinusoidal. Damped sinusoidal is the impulse response of this system. Okay, and you can understand that one. So already you have discussed that if this is your time minus t2 plus t, in time domain it is 1. This is your gate function or window function, t upon capital 2t. So what is the spectrum? This is your xt. So spectrum was a sinc function. This kind of thing. Is it okay? Can you tell me exact expression for this one? What is x of j omega? Anybody?
2 sine omega t. 2 sine omega t.
2 sine omega capital T
by omega.
upon
Omega.
right? Exactly correct. So this was the sinc function. So you see the height here at this point, this value is how much? What is the height here at 0?
2 capital T.
2t.
2t. Because that indicates that, so at 0, x of 0, you know the another property, is the integration of xt and dt. No? Area under this curve. The area under this curve is 2t times 1. It's 2t. So this is 2t. At this point, it is 2t. Okay. Then it is decaying and it will be 0 here, it will be 0 here. It's okay. That null condition also we have checked when you will get this one. And when this sine omega t equals to k pi kind of thing. Okay. So omega equal to pi by t, k pi by t. So first one is pi upon t. Then this one is 2 pi upon t, like that. Those frequencies you will get null. Null means zeros. So this is your spectrum for this gate function. Now, if I consider I wish to get this gate function in the spectrum side. So what I'll do? I'll use duality property that we have discussed earlier. So this thing should come here and this spectrum should go there. Okay. That means in time domain, I should have this kind of sinc functions. And here I should get a spectrum like this. This is what's omega and this is your t. Okay. So the property we have discussed that you know that xt, if its Fourier transform is capital X of j omega, then if I consider this capital XF in time domain x of t, then its spectrum would be, I think, 2 pi times small x of minus j omega. Am I correct? The duality
Yes,
property.
sir.
Okay. So you can use that one. So x of t, just replace this one omega upon t. So this is this function. I'm writing 2 sine, this is t, capital T upon small t. So omega is replaced by t. Yes. Okay. That signal should give a Fourier transform. Here it is Fourier transform. Should give this one. And so this is your capital T. Okay. So it's a 2 pi times. So amplitude will be 2 pi multiplication. And with this, okay, it's a folding thing. So negative will become positive, positive, negative. But as it is an even function, it will remain same. So x of minus j omega, x of j omega is remaining same. So again, it will remain same. It is plus t and minus t. Now, plus t we can consider as, in our case, it is omega s by 2. Okay. And this 2 will cancel and pi I can take this side. So what is the meaning? This sine, if I consider it is the omega s, t I should replace by omega s by 2. So omega s by 2 times t, and this 2 is getting cancelled out, and pi, I can divide both sides pi. So it is a pi t, and that is giving you the spectrum transform. That will be this one. This is pi, omega upon, this is your omega s, means this shape, minus omega s by 2 to omega s by 2. So width is omega s and this amplitude is 1. So this is your low pass filter. Is it okay? So this is the your h of t. And this is your capital H of j omega. So this h of t sinc function sine of omega s by 2t upon pi t, this sinc function is the impulse response of the system low pass filter. So we need to take convolution. No? So what is going on here? So you see how we've started with. This is our signal x of t. We have multiplied with p of t. This is your sampled version, ideal sample version x raised to t. And now we are passing it through a low pass filter, which is having one impulse response h of t, and that is your this sine of omega s by 2t upon pi t. And then we'll get certain output yt. And if this omega s is more than twice the w, then the yt will be 1 upon ts times x of t. Otherwise, you will get different, some distortion. Okay. Now, in time domain, can I study this one? So, what is the output? The output yt is basically in time domain. If I want to look at this xst passing through h of t, so it's a convolution between these two signal xst and h of t. Am I correct? Is it fine? Now this xst, what is that? That is the product of xt and pt. And that xt and pt times h of t, convolution h of t. And this one already have discussed that it is summation x of nts and del, and pt is the impulse train, t minus nts. This is your the product of xt and pt, and that we need to take convolution with h of t, right? Again, this convolution we can take because this is in amplitude only. I can multiply, then I can sum it up. So this is your x of nts. Now we can consider this del of t minus nts convolution with h of t, and then we can take summation. Right? Now what is this? Can you tell me? The convolution between del of t minus nts and h of t.
H of t minus nts.
Right? Perfect. So this is your x of nts, and that we can rewrite that h of the delayed one, t minus nts. Now what is the meaning of this? So this x of nts is the samples of original signal that is multiplied by the corresponding h of t minus nts. Yes, and here in our case h of t is a sinc function that is multiplied, and then it's summation. Now you see so I'll draw in a bigger way. So this is your signal. This signal is your xt. Now we are taking samples. Okay, these are the samples. Right? This is at TS, 2 TS, 3 TS, 4 TS, like that. Okay. So you see, this is the height. This height is obviously x of 0. This is of x of TS, x of 2 TS, x of 3 TS, like that. This height of this blue bar. Okay, that weightage. Now, this is h of t minus ts. So h of t is this f. This is our swing function h of t. Right? So, and if this h of t is located at 0, so at n equal to 0, it is x of 0 times h of t. So this is x of 0, that is the weightage. And now suppose I'll draw it. So I think h of t, its value is 1, that you can check. So here we should draw our swing function. Sorry, my drawing is not proper. Okay. Suppose if it is like this. Okay. So this is corresponding to what? This one is x of 0 times h of t. Next one is x of ts times h of t minus ts. So that is here. Would be like that, something like that. Okay. So this is your x of 1 or ts times h of t minus ts. Similarly here, you will get one impulse kind of thing. Okay. So you'll see everywhere you will find this swing function. And then you need to add in time domain all the signals. So you see this is decreasing and this is increasing. This second function is increasing. So addition of these two, you may get this shape here. Okay, exactly this one. So I have only these samples, this one and this one, but we can interpolate. So in between the shape we can get back. This is called interpolation. I think you understand what is the meaning of interpolation. Okay, so within these 2 points, I can interpolate it and I can get original signal safe. Correct? Is it okay? Any confusion, please? This is called interpolation. So using this swing function, this is a basis function. Using that, we can interpolate it and we can get back the original signals. Now this is with respect to ideal process, sampling process. But there is one drawback because here we are using on impulse train. And impulse means you understand that it's a huge power. Okay, infinite magnitude. So huge power is required to generate a impulse. So in practice, it is not possible to provide infinite power. So we should avoid impulse train. Okay. So practical sampling concept we'll be discussing, but also we need to discuss next time because time is not there. So do you have any question? You see, we can interpret in different way. No? Instead of this one, in an easy way, what I can do? I can consider that from here, okay, it will remain same. And next time again, when it will go back, it will be like that. So stage wise, like that. So this kind of interpolation is possible. And that is called zero order hold circuit. We can hold it, no? So whatever sample is there, we'll hold it after the next sample until the next sample is coming. And when it will come, again, we will consider that sample value. So in that process, we can get also some kind of interpolation, but that interpolation is giving some error, some kind of error is there. It won't give you the exact shape. So this is called first order hold circuit or hold system. And can you tell me what is the impulse response H of t? First order hold system. Zero order. It's not first order, zero order. It's called zero order, sorry. Zero order hold system. It is zero order hold system. It is considering the same value, and it will continue. No? So if I have a sample here, del t, this system should give a output of this kind of thing, no? Like this. So it's a rectangular path of ts, 0 to ts second. It should continue. Whenever you will apply impulse, and you will get the value, some value, and that will continue after ts second. Again, next time, next sample. Okay. So we can discuss this thing in detail. Do you have any question? No? Please try to understand all the things what we are discussing. Because signal system codes now it will become okay, it's going to that side. No, you have to pay a lot of attention. Otherwise, you will face a lot of difficulties. I hope we have discussed all the basic things. Now we need to apply all the concept to understand these advanced things. Like this sampling is not a difficult thing. It is too old concept. Later on, we'll be discussing some discrete time Fourier transform, DFT, and filtering. Those are important concepts. So you need to understand. So please revise whatever you have discussed. And especially the Fourier transform. It is too much useful. Every time you will be using the concept of Fourier transform. Okay. Okay, we'll be discussing the next class. I have meeting today.